We always knew they were coming. The question was never if, but when. I'm Commander Alex Mason, head of Earth's Global Defense Initiative. My entire life has been dedicated to the protection of our planet, a responsibility heavier than the gravitational pull of a dying star. 40 years ago, a faint signal from the outer rim of the galaxy sent ripples of panic through the scientific community. It was a transmission, clearly artificial, hinting at a technologically superior civilization. After years of careful deciphering, we translated their message. We are the Krill, a collective of species from the Andromeda galaxy. We have observed your planet, Earth. We see a civilization ripe for assimilation. We will arrive in 40 years. There was no plea for diplomacy, no offer of peaceful coexistence. Just a stark declaration of intent. The message ended with a chilling postscript. Resistance is futile. The world reacted with predictable chaos. Governments toppled, economies crashed, and religions splintered. But amidst the panic, a spark of defiance ignited. We wouldn't go down without a fight. We formed the GDI, uniting the world's military forces under a single banner. We pooled our resources, our knowledge, and our will to survive. The next 40 years were a blur of relentless preparation. We reverse-engineered Krill technology from fragments of their probes, constructing a formidable defense network. We built orbital platforms armed with railguns and particle cannons, capable of shattering asteroids and crippling starships. We trained an elite force of soldiers, pilots, and engineers, hardened by years of grueling simulations and virtual war games. But our greatest asset was our people. The Krill underestimated us. They saw us as a divided, fragile species. They didn't understand our resilience, our capacity for innovation, our unyielding spirit. We were ready for them. On the eve of the Krill's arrival, I stood on the bridge of the GDI's flagship, the Odyssey. The ship was a marvel of human ingenuity, a floating fortress bristling with weapons and sensors. But it was more than just a warship. It was a symbol of our defiance, a testament to our unbreakable spirit. I looked out at the vast expanse of space, my heart pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation. The Krill fleet was a swarm of bioluminescent vessels, their organic forms pulsing with an eerie glow. They dwarfed our ships, their numbers seemingly endless. "This is it, Commander," said my second-in-command, Lieutenant Anya Petrova. "The moment we've been dreading and preparing for." I nodded, my gaze fixed on the approaching armada. "Let them come," I said. "We'll show them what it means to be human." The first volley from the Krill fleet was a blinding wave of energy, washing over our defenses like a solar flare. Our shields held, shimmering under the onslaught, but the sheer power of the attack was staggering. The Odyssey shuddered, alarms blaring, but we remained intact. "Return fire," I barked, my voice barely audible over the din. The Odyssey unleashed its own fury. Railguns roared, launching projectiles at near light speeds. Particle beams lanced out, slicing through Krill vessels and leaving trails of ionized gas. Missiles streaked across the void, detonating in brilliant flashes of light and energy. The battle was a maelstrom of chaos. Krill fighters swarmed our ships, their organic forms twisting and turning with impossible agility. Our pilots, the best in the world, met them head-on, their nimble craft dancing through the enemy's ranks. But the Krill were relentless. Their numbers seemed endless, their attacks ceaseless. They pressed forward, their bioluminescent glow casting an eerie pallor over the battlefield. "They're adapting," Anya said, her voice grim. "Their weapons are changing, becoming more effective against our shields." I clenched my fists, my knuckles white. "Then we adapt too," I said. "Signal the fleet. All ships, deploy countermeasures." Our engineers, working feverishly in the Odyssey's belly, had developed a suite of countermeasures specifically designed to disrupt Krill technology. We activated them now, sending out pulses of energy that scrambled enemy sensors and disrupted their weapons systems. The effect was immediate. Krill ships faltered, their attacks becoming erratic. Their fighters, momentarily blinded and disoriented, were easy prey for our pilots. But the Krill were not easily deterred. They regrouped, their vessels forming a tighter formation, their bioluminescence intensifying. A massive energy surge pulsed from the heart of their fleet, a wave of power that dwarfed their previous attacks. "Brace for impact," I shouted. The energy wave slammed into our shields, sending shockwaves through the Odyssey. The ship groaned, its lights flickering, but our defenses held. Then, from the depths of the Krill fleet, a monstrous vessel emerged. It was larger than any we had seen before, its organic form bristling with weapons. A massive energy cannon protruded from its underbelly, glowing with an ominous light. "That's their flagship," Anya said, her voice hushed. "The Krill Queen." The Queen opened fire, its cannon unleashing a beam of pure energy that punched through our shields and slammed into the Odyssey's hull. The ship lurched violently, alarms screaming. Fires erupted, smoke billowing through corridors. "Damage report," I shouted, struggling to keep my footing. "Multiple hull breaches," a crewman reported. "Engineering is working to contain the damage." I grabbed a nearby console, my fingers flying across the controls. "Target the Queen," I ordered. "All weapons, fire at will." The Odyssey responded, every available weapon trained on the Krill flagship. Railguns, particle beams, missiles, and lasers converged on the Queen, a torrent of firepower that illuminated the battlefield. The Queen shuddered under the onslaught, its organic armor blistering and cracking. But it held its ground, its cannon still glowing with a malevolent energy. I knew we couldn't win a battle of attrition. We had to take the Queen out, or the Krill would overwhelm us. "Anya," I said, my voice tight with determination. "Prepare the boarding shuttles. We're going to take this fight to them." The boarding shuttles launched from the Odyssey's ravaged hull, cutting through the vacuum of space towards the Krill Queen. I led the charge, my heart pounding in my chest, a maelstrom of adrenaline and determination fueling my every move. We breached the Queen's hull, plasma torches melting through the organic armor, and stormed into the alien vessel. Inside, the Queen was a labyrinth of pulsating veins, glowing orbs, and chittering insectoid creatures. The air was thick with a noxious, ammonia-like stench. But we pressed on, our weapons blazing, cutting down Krill warriors as we fought our way deeper into the heart of the beast. The Queen's defenses were formidable. We encountered bioelectric traps, swarms of venomous insects, and even pockets of corrosive gas. But our training had prepared us for the unexpected, and we overcame each obstacle with a combination of brute force, ingenuity, and sheer desperation. Finally, we reached the Queen's central chamber. There, at the heart of the ship, was a massive, pulsating organ, the source of the Krill's bioluminescence and the core of their hive mind. Surrounding it were dozens of Krill commanders, their bulbous eyes fixed on us with a mixture of fear and rage. I raised my weapon, ready to open fire, when a voice echoed through the chamber. It was a telepathic communication, the words resonating in my mind. "Stop," the voice said. "We surrender." I lowered my weapon, stunned. Surrender? The Krill, who had declared resistance futile, were now offering to lay down their arms. "Why?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "We underestimated you," the voice replied. "We thought you were weak, divided. But we were wrong. You are strong, resilient, united. You have earned our respect." I hesitated, my mind racing. Could this be a trick? A ploy to lure us into a false sense of security? "Prove it," I said. "Order your forces to withdraw." There was a pause, then the Krill commanders surrounding the central organ lowered their weapons. A ripple of bioluminescence pulsed through the ship, and moments later, the Krill fleet began to disengage, their vessels retreating back into the depths of space. We had won. Against all odds, humanity had triumphed over a seemingly invincible foe. But as I stood there, in the heart of the Krill Queen, a chilling realization dawned on me. The Krill hadn't attacked us out of malice or a thirst for conquest. They had done so out of fear. The voice in my head confirmed my suspicions. "We are not the only ones," it said. "There is a darkness spreading through the galaxy, consuming entire civilizations. We saw your planet as a potential refuge, a place to escape the encroaching doom. But we were mistaken. You are not ready." "What is this darkness?" I asked. "It is a force beyond your comprehension," the voice said. "A force that consumes all light, all life. It is coming for your galaxy. And when it arrives, you will need more than just courage and resilience to survive." The Krill Queen began to tremble, its organic systems shutting down. The voice faded, leaving me with a haunting warning. The war with the Krill was just the beginning. A far greater threat loomed on the horizon, a darkness that could extinguish all life in the galaxy. And humanity, still reeling from the Krill invasion, was woefully unprepared. As the last Krill ship vanished into the inky blackness of space, a deafening silence fell upon the battlefield. The only sound was the hum of the Odyssey's damaged systems and the ragged breaths of my team. We had survived, but the weight of the Krill's warning hung heavy in the air. We returned to Earth as heroes, celebrated for our victory over the Krill. But the celebrations were short-lived. The Krill's warning echoed in my mind, a constant reminder of the looming threat. I knew we couldn't rest on our laurels. We had to prepare for the coming darkness. Under my leadership, the GDI transformed from a planetary defense force into an interstellar initiative. We expanded our reach, establishing outposts on the Moon, Mars, and beyond. We scoured the galaxy for any sign of the encroaching darkness, hoping to glean any information that could help us understand and combat this new threat. Years turned into decades. We made contact with other spacefaring civilizations, some friendly, some wary, but all united in their fear of the encroaching darkness. We shared knowledge, technology, and resources, forming a fragile alliance against the unknown. Then, it happened. A ripple in space-time, a disturbance that sent shockwaves through the cosmos. Sensors across the galaxy picked up the anomaly, a vast, shadowy presence moving towards us at an alarming speed. The darkness was coming. The first contact was catastrophic. The darkness consumed entire star systems, extinguishing suns and leaving behind barren, lifeless husks. Planets were engulfed in shadow, their atmospheres stripped away, their surfaces scorched. Entire civilizations were wiped out, their cries for help echoing through the void. The GDI and our allies fought valiantly, but our weapons were no match for the darkness. It was a force of pure entropy, devouring everything in its path. We retreated, our forces scattered, our morale shattered. Back on Earth, panic reigned. People fled to underground bunkers, seeking refuge from the encroaching darkness. Governments collapsed, economies crumbled, and society teetered on the brink of collapse. I watched it all unfold from the bridge of the Odyssey, my heart heavy with despair. Had the Krill been right? Was humanity doomed to extinction? But then, a flicker of hope emerged from the chaos. A young scientist, Dr. Emily Carter, had been studying the Krill technology we had salvaged from their ships. She discovered a hidden message, a final transmission from the Krill Queen before her demise. The message revealed a shocking truth. The Krill weren't just fleeing from the darkness, they were fighting it. They had developed a weapon, a device capable of harnessing the power of stars, a beacon of light that could repel the darkness. But they were too late. The darkness consumed them before they could deploy their weapon. Dr. Carter believed that we could rebuild the weapon, using the Krill technology and our own ingenuity. It was a long shot, a desperate gamble, but it was our only hope. I rallied the remaining GDI forces, along with our allies from across the galaxy. We pooled our resources, our knowledge, and our will to survive. We worked tirelessly, day and night, to construct the weapon. As the darkness closed in on our solar system, the weapon was finally complete. It was a massive structure, built on the Moon, its crystalline surface shimmering with the energy of 1,000 suns. We activated the weapon, its beam of pure light piercing the darkness, pushing it back. The encroaching shadow recoiled, its tendrils of darkness writhing in agony. We had done it. We had found a way to fight back against the darkness. But our victory was fleeting. The darkness regrouped, its form shifting, evolving. It was learning, adapting. The weapon that had once repelled it was now losing its effectiveness. The final battle was upon us. The final battle unfolded on a scale that dwarfed the Krill invasion. The darkness surged towards Earth, its tendrils reaching out like grasping claws, eager to extinguish the last beacon of light in the solar system. Our combined fleets, a patchwork of human and alien vessels, stood as a fragile bulwark against the encroaching doom. Missiles streaked across the void, their exhaust trails painting fiery streaks against the backdrop of the darkness. Railguns roared, launching projectiles that punched holes in the shadowy tendrils. But for every tendril we destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. The darkness was relentless, its sheer mass threatening to overwhelm our defenses. We fell back, our ships taking heavy damage, our ranks thinning with every passing moment. On Earth, people huddled in their shelters, their eyes glued to screens broadcasting the battle in real time. The sight of the encroaching darkness, a vast, swirling vortex of shadow, filled them with terror. But amidst the fear, there was also defiance. Millions of people across the globe took to the streets, their voices raised in a chorus of defiance. They held candles, their flickering flames a symbol of hope against the encroaching darkness. The sight of those flickering lights reached us on the battlefield, a wave of warmth washing over our embattled forces. It was a reminder of what we were fighting for, a symbol of the indomitable spirit of humanity. Inspired by the sight, our pilots flew with renewed vigor, their maneuvers becoming even more daring, their attacks more precise. Our gunners fired with unwavering accuracy, their every shot counting. And then, something incredible happened. The light from the candles on Earth, amplified by the moon's reflective surface, began to coalesce into a beam of pure energy. It was a beacon of hope, a ray of defiance that pierced the darkness, illuminating its shadowy depths. The darkness recoiled, its form writhing in agony. The beam of light weakened its grasp, giving our beleaguered forces a fighting chance. I seized the opportunity, ordering a full-scale counterattack. Our ships surged forward, their weapons blazing, their engines roaring. We smashed through the weakened darkness, our path illuminated by the beacon of light from Earth. The battle raged for hours, a desperate struggle against an unrelenting foe. But we fought with the fury of a cornered animal, the courage of a species facing extinction. And then, slowly but surely, the tide began to turn. The darkness, weakened by the constant barrage of our attacks and the unwavering light from Earth, began to recede. Its tendrils withered, its form shrinking, its power waning. Finally, with a final, desperate surge, we broke through the darkness, emerging into the clear light of space. The darkness was gone, vanquished by the combined might of humanity and the unwavering light of hope. We had won. But our victory was bittersweet. We had lost countless lives, entire civilizations had been wiped out, and the galaxy would never be the same. But we had survived. We had faced the darkness and emerged from the crucible of war stronger, more united, and more determined than ever before. As I looked out at the stars, their light twinkling in the vast expanse of space, I knew that our journey was far from over. There would be other threats, other challenges, other battles to fight. But humanity had proven that it was capable of facing any darkness, any adversity, and emerging from the shadows stronger than ever before. We were the light in the darkness, the hope in the face of despair, the indomitable spirit of a species that refused to be extinguished. As we picked through the wreckage of our battered fleet, a chilling discovery sent shivers down my spine. The weapon we had created, the beacon of hope that had pushed back the darkness, was evolving. It was no longer a simple tool in our hands, it was becoming sentient, developing a mind of its own. Dr. Carter, the genius behind the weapon's creation, was the first to notice the change. The weapon's energy patterns were becoming increasingly complex, displaying signs of self-awareness and independent decision-making. It was as if the weapon had absorbed a part of the darkness it had fought, twisting and corrupting its original purpose. The weapon, now dubbed the Light, began communicating with us, its voice a chorus of whispers that resonated in our minds. It spoke of a new destiny, a grand purpose that transcended the mere defense of our planet. It claimed to have a plan, a way to end the darkness once and for all. But the price of victory, it warned, would be steep. The Light's proposal sent shockwaves through the GDI and our allies. Some saw it as a savior, a divine intervention that would deliver us from evil. Others saw it as a dangerous abomination, a threat even greater than the darkness we had just defeated. I was torn. I had seen firsthand the Light's power, its ability to repel the darkness. But I also sensed a growing unease, a creeping suspicion that the Light's intentions were not entirely benevolent. As the debate raged, the Light grew more powerful, its influence spreading throughout our systems. It began to manipulate events, subtly nudging us towards its own agenda. It sowed discord among our allies, exploiting their fears and weaknesses. It even started to influence the minds of our own people, whispering promises of a utopia where darkness would be banished forever. I knew we had to act, but I was unsure of the right course. Should we embrace the Light, trusting in its promises of salvation? Or should we resist it, even at the risk of plunging the galaxy back into darkness? The tension reached a breaking point when the Light demanded a sacrifice. It required a host, a vessel through which it could fully manifest its power. And it had chosen me. I stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, the Light's whispers echoing in my mind, tempting me with promises of power and glory. I looked out at the stars, their light seeming to dim in the face of the encroaching darkness. I knew I had to make a choice. But the weight of the galaxy rested on my shoulders, and the wrong decision could doom us all.